Joseph Borrell has a lot of sort of damage limitation to do.
He really does. He's got to do damage control not just on the relationship between Europe and the United States, but he's got to do damage control internally for Europe. You know, there's been a lot of discussion about how this is, marks some sort of division potentially between Europe and the United States. But if you look within Europe, you've got a situation where countries like Poland, the Nordic countries, the Baltic states, for them, the defense of Ukraine, the successful defense of Ukraine, is existential. It's that big of a deal. And they know that the United States is the country that's primarily, contributing to that defense, certainly not France. I mean, France is doing its part, but it's not doing what the U.S. is. So this sort of commentary from Macron really creates, makes some alarm bells go off.
Yeah, and I mean, he caught a lot of flack for the things that he said as well. But, there's a sense that he's the only one saying it publicly, right? Because there are question marks hanging over Germany. There are question marks hanging over Sanchez as well, who was also in China recently.
Yeah, he is the only one saying it publicly, and he used much stronger language. I think that the language of it, you said the word vassal a moment ago. That's like, talking about crises that are not our own. Now, NATO is not as unified over Taiwan. There is alignment, but it's not as unified over Taiwan as it is over Ukraine. Xi Jinping has been watching for a year, almost helplessly, while Russia's invasion drives the West together, drives NATO together. And so he's got to be pretty happy to have this sort of, fissure created that is making it clear that there's some Europeans, at least, who think that, Taiwan's a different ballgame.
That's sort of been China's approach, right? Especially with regards to Europe, which is divide and conquer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it works. And Europe is, if you look at Europe as a single polity, it's one that you can divide, France has a long cultural tradition of this. Yeah. Go back to Charles de Gaulle. Yeah. They've been this way. Even the role that during the Cold War France played in NATO was less kind of like all buy-in, like the Americans were.
But if you follow the money trail, Monsieur Macron's visit to China was successful in that context when you consider the deal that he struck with Airbus.
I was going to say, right? Airbus should be pretty happy with this.
Yeah, he did it for a reason, right? And took some CEOs with him. He got a lot bigger. He was feted basically by Beijing, unlike Ursula von der Leyen, EC president, who was kind of shunned. She represents European unity. Macron represents the second biggest economy behind Germany and the European Union. And so, yeah, that certainly was something that
and
factored
perhaps that's what it really comes down to in terms of managing and defining that relationship, that perhaps the sovereigns and the presidency or the leadership, the political leadership, should push forward the business leaders first. I mean, look at how Tim Cook has managed the relationship in China. They love him. They're taking selfies with him. A very charismatic business leader. That's one story, and that we're going to continue talking about the dynamics of that relationship. But Ted, what else is trending on the site? Clearly, it must be CPI in the markets and how they react to that.
Yeah, everybody's waiting to see that big number. The S&P, as you guys have discussed, was largely flat yesterday. And so there's not been, that's still the big story. Even if the markets aren't doing anything crazy, people still want to know what's going on. An interesting story about Google is no longer going to require its employees to have the universal vaccine in order to access its buildings. Culturally, that's going to be a little bit of a challenge for Google. They're going to have to work that out because they're going to have a lot of folks inside who are sensitive about that. And then a China story, actually, is the third biggest story on the site among Asia-Pacific regions about China's birth rate. As we know, it's declining, it's low, it's below replacement level. But despite that, just like so many countries, every country basically that's faced this problem, the fix is not easy to find.
Hi, I'm Emily Tan, and thanks for watching CNBC. You can check out more of our videos by clicking on the boxes on the screen, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks for watching.